Welcome to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a prediction between J.D. Vance, the current Republican Vice President of the United States, versus AOC, one of probably the most famous Congresswoman from New York. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I've already got all the safe, likely, and lean states characterized. We'll be going through each of the swing states. So this is one of the more likely situations that could result after the primaries are done. AOC is generally not favored to be the most likely candidate for the Democrats to put forward, but she has been floated as a potential option, and in the polling, she has usually been in the top 5 consistently, so I thought it would be fun to do an interesting prediction between those two candidates. So I'll start off in Nevada and go going east. So I'm going to start in Nevada. I do think that AOC is going to be a bit of an alienating character for many voters. That might just be a little bit too progressive in many regards. And I think that would probably hold true in the state of Nevada. So I do think she has a shot at winning the state of Nevada. Probably one of 3 of the swing states that she has the best chance in, probably the 3rd. But for now, I'm going to go with the tilt red in the Republican column for J.D. Vance. That's going to be 6 electoral college votes for him. And then we get to the state of Arizona. In Arizona, I might even be willing to do this as a lean, but for now, I'm going to do tilt for all the swing states. So that is going to be 11 more electoral college votes for J.D. Vance. The state of Arizona went to Trump by the biggest margin of all the swing states in 2024 out of the core 7, so it's got a high likelihood of ending up in the Republican column again. And then we'll go now to the little district here in Omaha. I've gone back and forth on whether or not this district will be willing to vote for AOC on the national level. And I do think that now, just with the more favorable Democratic environment, I'm going to put it in the tilt D column. Even Harris was able to win this district and by a decently comfortable margin. I don't remember the exact margin, but I think it was like 3 to 5%. So even if AOC doesn't do quite as well, still would be a tilt victory in the little Omaha district there. Then I'll head down to the south. So I do think in Georgia, that would most likely end up in the Republican column. J.D. Vance is definitely a polarizing figure, but I would argue less so than Trump. Fewer scandals and whatnot, so I think that would go well with a more moderate appeal, especially when juxtaposed to AOC, who is quite a bit more progressive. J.D. Vance is, of course, no moderate, no Joe Manchin or anything, but he is generally regarded as more moderate between him and AOC. So I do think that would aid him in the state of Georgia and throughout the swing state, throughout many of the states. So that is 252 to 226. I'm going to go now to North Carolina. I think in North Carolina, it's got a really good shot of also ending up in the Republican column. As you can see, this has been a pretty good election for J.D. Vance already. I do think that when we get to the Rust Belt, there might be some differences in opinion, but for now I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I think that Wisconsin is probably AOC's best chance at winning in probably any of the swing states. Nevada might be 2nd or 3rd. I think Michigan I've gone back and forth on. Ultimately, I do think that J.D. Vance would win the state of Pennsylvania. So that is going to be the election called right there, 287. So Michigan is just going to be icing on the cake. And I do think it would go. I'm not certain about this one. For now, I'm going to put it in the Republican column. So that would be J.D. Vance to 302 to AOC's 236. So definitely a good election for J.D. Vance. I do think if AOC were to be the candidate, that would most likely result in a Republican victory. We have seen a more favorable environment for Democrats lately, so it's certainly possible things could go the other way. But for now, if the election were to be held today between these two candidates, this is probably how I would predict it. Feel free to agree or disagree with me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.